Hi guys, and welcome back to another video. So I'm here today to reveal my new car. This isn't a car that I am borrowing. This is my own personal car which I've gone out and brought. Now as you're aware, I had my S-Class which I've now sold. I was using the Z4, that was my cousin's car which I'd borrowed. I think that was the last video that I posted, but anyways, so I bought this car about a week ago and I was looking for a budget car, to be honest. I didn't want anything fancy. Get a small runaround car, use that to go back and forth from work. However, this little itch of mine which I've had for a long time, as I was searching as you do on Auto Trader and Facebook Marketplace, I came across this particular car. I thought I'll see what it's like as a daily driver. It's the car that I used to get back and forth from work. It's the car that I go and do my errands in. It's also the car that I used to go see my friends up and down the country. It's going back in time a bit. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll see that I did buy a particular car. However, it had a lot of issues in it. In that particular car, I think a manual would have been better, and because of the issues that came across with it, and I just sold it whilst I could. I think I had that car for about a month, but if you haven't followed me on Instagram, you'll see that there. I bought the car here today and I thought I'll do a little reveal. I've had the car for about a week and a half now, been using it every single day. So far so good. I have not had a single issue with it. A lot of people said don't go old school, you know, you have X, Y and Z issues with it, it'll be a money pit. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. So yeah, I guess in 3, 2, 1, here's my new car. So here she is. This is my Mercedes-Benz E200 Saloon in brilliant silver. Quite a change, very old school, going back to basics here, but I love it. It's something different. You don't see many on the road, and I think that's what it was. I wanted something that you don't usually see. I'm aware it's an E200, it's not an E320, it's not the E500, which I wish it was. On top of that, it's not a special variant like your Kooning specials or your ABCs, you know, or your Gambalas, but it's quirky, and that's what I wanted. I wanted something that is out of the ordinary. I wish she was black with black tinted windows with some nice alloys, especially the AMG monoblocks or the Aero 3 AMG splits. Would have made the car look a lot more aggressive. However, I do get called granddad a lot in this car by my friends, but you know, I love it for what it is. Very old school, back to basics, classic. It's got the boxy look, which I love. You know, all these new cars that are coming out, they're all too curvy. Now, I guess, you know, the C63s and your M4s and your, you know, all that kind of caliber sport cars are great when they have, you know, the curves. When we're talking about your basic day-to-day dailies, it can't get any better than this. Bulletproof motor. They're known to be over-engineered, which means you're not going to get a lot of issues, and it's just stunning the way it is. I mean, come on, I know that it's sat on a 15-inch alloys. I know the ride height is a bit too high up. I wish it had the more aggressive AMG bumper, which comes down further, and then you get the 2 fog lights there. You get the more aggressive arches, but I mean, to be honest, these arches aren't too bad, the way they stick out. But, you know, this car, when it first came out, it was supposed to be, you know, your day-to-day driver, your day-to-day cruiser, the car that you take your family out in, the car that you just get in, start it and go wherever you need to be, get the groceries in it. So a little history about these. This particular model is a 124, and it's obviously the range of Mercedes, which is a mid-size car. Now these ran from 1984 to around 1996, I believe. There were various variants. So there was the 124 Estate, S Coupe, the C Cabriolet, and a 124 Limousine. Now this obviously being the E200 and a 1994 model. From 1993, the 124 series was officially marketed as the E-Class, and then the 124 followed from the 123 series from 1984 and was succeeded by the W124 E-Class after 1995, which of course the whole shape changed. It became a bit more curvier. It still remained this boxiness, but very different. So spec wise, we've got the front grille, the square boxy style headlights. This one does have a bit of a stone chip in it. Don't know where that came from, whether it was me or whether it was from before, no idea. We've got the clear instead of the amber indicator side light, the 8-hole alloy wheels, which I believe are 15-inch, tiny little things. Funny thing with these cars is you've got the smaller style side mirror there, whereas if you come on the other side, on the driver's side, typical rectangular style one. This vehicle comes with no sunroof, so if we come around the back, we can go into the boot, push a button, manual lift up, and you've got plenty of space. You've got these side pockets, make sure that, you know, something that would normally slip and slide around doesn't, and keeps itself put. Breakdown symbol for whenever you break down the motorway, etc. Nice bit of light. When you lift this up, you have, with a little lever, the spare wheel, a jack and some tools. Not a lot of rust back here either. Now this is obviously prone to rusting like crazy, so you know, if you're ever in the market for one, just make sure you lift this up, because what can happen is these seals can perish, water can get in, destroy everything. Before I get into the front, as you can see, this is the key for the car. Now the fob has the manual key which goes into the ignition. Folding that back, it's got central locking with the red sign indicating that it's locked and a green light indicating that it's unlocked. So getting into the front, you can straight away see very retro, and I quite like that. Something different. See, it isn't leather, it's a cloth material, and these are actually classified as the sport seats back in the day, but this is what we are working with. So let's step into the car. First of all, we've got all this walnut veneer, which I absolutely love. I think this really sets the car apart and gives it that luxurious feel back in the day. And you know, it's solid too, minus the little mark here. Moving on to the steering wheel, it is huge. It is something that you get used to. It's about 15 inches, I believe. Now that is quite the size. I mean, it's like what, your average pizza, large size. So you can imagine what it's like to have this as a steering wheel, compared to obviously the smaller, sportier steering wheels you get in cars today. Analog style cluster there, retro. You've got all these little lights here. Any issues which happen with the vehicle, they pop up. Wiper fluid there. You've got your lights, rear or front, any issues. That actually went off recently because I didn't have the rear left was out, so I had to change that. ABS. Don't know what SRS stands for. You've got your coolant oil, no idea what that is. That's handbrake, that's battery, and that's obviously your beams. So everything is in working order for a 1994 car. Old school radio. I don't know how I'm gonna, you know, listen to music. I'll probably have to buy a collection of cassettes. The radio still works. Coming up above it, we've obviously got the climate control. The car does come with AC, surprisingly, so that's fitted. And trust me, you might think this car might take a while to warm up. Once you start the car and leave it running for about, I don't know, 4 minutes or 3 minutes, it gets baking in here. And vice versa, if you want it to cool down, just swipe these down and there you go. So of course, if you want the focus to be on the windscreen and your feet, just your feet. And I believe this function here is for these vents. On the other side, actually getting the aircon on. You've got 4 different speeds there. This little dot, I'm not actually quite sure what it does. So if you do know, leave it down in the comment. And of course, that is off. This is obviously hazard light, indicators if you ever need to stop. This is for the rear light. As you can see, it turns on and off, so that's fully functioning. And this one here is for the rear radiator. Now, mistake which I made was I had a scent which was placed in here, and from that I got the car wash and I received an air freshener which dangled down. If I turn the headlights on, oh, it's not working, but these light up. So behind there are bulbs. What I didn't realize at the time was these being plastic, the bulbs obviously get hot, and as this was dangling down, it was blocking the heat. And what happened was the button ended up somewhat melting and messing up. It's got a funny glow to it. Unfortunately, I messed that button up. It's a 4-speed automatic. You know, you go through the gears very quickly. Supposedly, this is to put it in sport with the S and economic. Moving further down, we've obviously got all the window buttons which are all functioning for the front drivers, for the rear passengers, and that is just a child lock, so the kids at the back cannot open the windows, which again works perfectly fine. Just a switch of a button and there you go, no one has access to the windows. A bit of storage compartment there, the cigarette lighter, ashtray, and these 2 grooves would be to hold your cigarette. So pretty cool design. Further down, it does have an armrest. But if you realise, the armrest is actually attached to the passenger seat. If the passenger, which brings me off very nicely to the point that this car has electric seats. The bottom bit, the back support, headrest are all electric. As you move this seat back and forwards, the armrest goes back and forwards. If you find this annoying, you are able to put it up and it stays there until you push a button on the side here and it drops back down. Moving that up, this gives you a section for compartment. If you realise coming over here, there is no glove box. So what does that mean? Your glove box is this little compartment here. You can lock it if you have any personal belongings on there that you do not want anybody accessing. Push this down, drag it back, and there's your compartment. This does go quite deep and far back. It is quite convenient. I mean, I'll probably be looking to keep, you know, chargers and wires and, you know, chewing gum and fragrances in there. You know, sometimes a tie. Nevertheless, very useful, and it locks into place as well. So you can hear the little click. There we go. so it doesn't come back until you push this black button here and drag it back. So pretty convenient, useful. The only thing that this car for now doesn't have is cup holders, so that's something I will have to get used to. Front, you've got all this leather here, leather across there, the cloth material there, and of course storage down there, and the same over here. The car has no stalks on this side, however on this side only has the indicator and the windscreen wipers, and if you push it down it obviously squirts the water to clean your windscreen. So there's no cruise control on this, unfortunately, even though it is an automatic. This is obviously the central locking sensor, but I just love the whole retro vibe to this car. So coming into the back, I mean, it's not your S-Class, so you don't have a lot of leg room. However, you have more than enough. So you've got the little gaps here. I sit at about 5'11", so you know, I'm sat comfortably in these seats. Got more than enough space. This is my seating position, and that's leaning back, you know, a fair bit too. So for me to sit here comfortably, my back is straight up too, and I've got more than enough space. And it, you know, it's like you're sat on your sofa at home. Windows modular there. You got your cigarette bin style ashtray there, and you know, I can see that someone has used that for cigarettes. So over here you pull this down and you have an armrest, which again is very comfortable on long journey drives. Another quirky fact about this car is, if I just get back out, I'll go to the back, I have a first aid kit. Now pulling this lever, pulling it up, opens that up, and here I can lift out. And by the looks of it, it seems like it is the original one from 1994. It hasn't been opened, and I'm not planning on opening it. I can't actually see any dates on here. Yeah, disposable glove. I don't know, they're bandages of some sort. I don't know what that is. Oh, actually there is a, yeah, this says 30/06/1999. Maybe that's the, you know, the date they should be used by, but it's the official Mercedes one. Has it got a date on it? No, no dates on there. Interesting little find. I didn't know that was there until one of my friends pointed it out. So that lives back there. Oh, doesn't want to close. There we go, that's closed now. Let's put that back up. You can see she is in great condition. Anyways, let's get the bonnet open and show you what the engine looks like. Surprisingly, the engine opens from the passenger. There's a red lever here. Once you've done that, you just pull on this little lever here, a little pull, and there we go. It does need a bit of a clean, a bit of a wipe down. Being in the UK, you get rain, it all gets through here, gets flicked up, and becomes a bit of a mess. I did have to get a new battery for it. That's the only issue that I've had. Since purchasing the car, during the colder days that we have had, the car wouldn't start. Now, this is obviously a 2 litre, so I believe the fuel consumption is of 8.6 litres. It roughly gives about 33 miles per gallon, which I haven't actually tested. 0 to 60 is in 11.5 seconds. Very, very slow. So being the E200, it comes with the engine code 111.940. It's a 4-cylinder, and the engine produces a maximum power of 134 bhp, which is very, very, very slow for my liking. In terms of RPM, reaches about 5,500 and has 190 Newton meters of torque, which is absolutely nothing when you really want to push this car to its limits. But again, it's a cruiser, not a race car. Funniest thing is, as you can see, that this is the angle of the bonnet at the moment. However, if you come around this little mechanic, you pull this lever, lift it up, let it rest there. Lift that one. You lift that one out. Okay, always do the passenger side first. So lift that one out, lift this one out. You can see this goes directly vertical, which gives you enough space to actually, you know, work around the car, and it's more accessible. You can access the battery, you can access the engine, and all that stuff around that side. So it's got a lot of muck on there, which I do need to obviously get it cleaned up. I'm looking to get that professionally cleaned, and you know, just keep the maintenance and the upkeep of it as it is, because obviously the outside looks stunning, it's beautiful. It doesn't have much defects. Like I mentioned, the rust was one thing I definitely, you know, I made sure I checked. But so guys, this is obviously my new car, my W124. I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a comment down below, any questions, whatever you want to know about, whatever you want to see next on the channel, leave that down below too. Please do subscribe and do like the video, that helps me out a lot. So thank you so much for watching, and yeah, hopefully I can put some happy miles on this car. Thank you so much guys, and I'll see you on the next one.